All right, good morning, everybody. Back at it again here. Another stream here with Illuvium. Let's take a look here in just a moment's time at our game plan for today. Again, another Friday stream. I don't normally stream on Fridays, but the bandwidth was there. Could definitely do it again here this week. And very excited, of course, because we do have the Illuvium Pro League, the finale, all happening this weekend, and it should make for a good time. Our top 16, of course, on Saturday. We're going to whittle them down to, I believe it's the top 8. And then we'll go from there. That's when the points reset. That's when everybody gets back onto the even playing field. And it will be absolutely crazy. Drake, holy smokes, you're fast, mate. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Of course, with Drake, with everybody, of course, by all means, regardless, as usual, regardless of which platform you happen to be on, I do have the chat windows open and available. Always happy to converse, answer questions, and keep chatting with you, whether I'm competing in the arena, in the Overworld, or going over some sort of topic. It does not matter. I'll gladly talk to you. But, of course, it's not mandatory if you just want to sit back and relax. At the end of the day, I'm just happy that you're here. Kind of forgot to close or clean off my glasses before we got started here, so a rare silent without glasses moment, but there we go. Now I can actually see y'all. For the game plan here for today, I do want to do an Overworld run. I do have a couple of skins that just came out of the 0-point transducers here from my Illuvium Zero plots. I am looking for a Chikoro. I have a drone skin ready for it. A pretty nice one, in fact. I really like look this thing. I'll have to show you in a little bit. I got one of those, and then I have a Rota, and I think I have one more. So potentially 3 skins, possibly in one run, and of course I'm still looking for a Malura. So that is also going to be a target for us to aim for. Do 1 or 2 runs here today to try and get that done. Then around 11 o'clock, we will get into the Illuvium Arena, try and get some ranked games in. Kind of scratch the itch before putting the mouse aside and strictly picking up the microphone for casting the finals this weekend. Then after that, of course, is going to be our Illuvium Zero cooldown lap. I have a bunch of these tier 4 scanners ready to rock. I think at least 3 of my plots have 2 or more tier 4 scanners. I had a big pickup yesterday where a Scoriox found its way into my Abyssal Basin plot. We scanned it down, which left me now with 6 more tier 4s before I have the whole collection. But without further ado, just a quick moment, and then we'll get into the Overworld to kind of kick off the day. Alright, let's get on into it. I think I've already got it booted up and good to go. There we are. I cleaned up my OBS a little bit as well, so if my green screen decides to mess around with me, I can fix it much quicker. We're slowly but surely getting there. But of course, here at the Forge, let's take a look at what we're going to be trying to build here today. So this Chikoro skin here with the Mozart. I love the flaming underbody here, or the belly here. I definitely want to pick this one up. I do have a Bach for Chikoro, but this would be my first skin there for the Mozart. Of course, it says I have 5 out of 3. Well, why can't you just make it right here, right now? 2 of them are hollows, and one of them's actually pretty decent in regards to stats. I don't want to throw that one away, so I need to find either something that's better than the Chikoro, or worse, and replace it that way. This way I don't have to use any of my hollows as skin fodder, because that would definitely be a bit overkill. This was the 3rd one that I was talking about that I couldn't remember. So Riley, similar scenario, where I have the 1 hollow that I use on my team, and then I have a pretty decent one at that, which leaves me with 1 that I'm pretty much willing to toss. So I need basically 2 Riley to get what I want done. Rota, maybe finding 1 to replace. Actually, my hollow is my best one. I could honestly, let's make that right now. We can get started with this Rota skin, keep the hollow, A Rota Mozart drone on the way. You might be able to start Overworld this Sunday. That's fantastic. Hopefully it all works out for you and you can hop on in. Start collecting some alluvials while you can. Okay, so now that skin is processing. A lot of the stuff that I caught from the other day still in queue apparently as well. Interesting. I'm sure once I do the one run, it'll pass on through here. So since we're looking for Chikorol, Rye, and Malura, Crimson Waste once again is probably the way to go. Best chance at finding it and each of those in this one. Once that Rhoda skin is made, maybe when we switch to Arena, we'll use that skin, or that, or maybe even the Chikorol. One of the skins we built today, maybe we'll use. Okay, let's take a look. First off, check out the rock. That's just for gems. I don't care. This one, that's for armor. I don't care either. I'm past that. Oh, there's an ace here. Okay, we'll have to take a look at the ace. There's a Chuko, not the one that I'm looking for. A Virtuous Ember Lynx, I'd love to take a look at that. TB Ruko, while that is a fully evolved one and pretty cool, we do have a bunch of those. There is a Chikorol, so that's the one we need. Can I find a Riley in here by chance? A bunch of Railu. A bunch of Railu. 2 Hollow Chukos even. The Chikorol nice and close. A bunch of Chikoros. A Chikundi, I'll gladly take a look at that. Fully evolved one. And I might get skunked on the Riley to get started off here. First thing I want to take a look at, though... Actually, let's get the Chikorol right out of the way. There was one nice and close and nearby. Assuming I can actually traverse the Crimson Waste, which is, of course, always a challenge here for me. Trying to figure out my way around these cliffs. Should be right around the corner. There's Tiancy. There's a Grilla. And that's it. Oh, the Chikorol's up there. There it is. Shoot it down. Scoop this one up so we can make the skin. Then go from here to the Virtuous Ember Lynx, to the Ace, and then, let's see, maybe to the Chikondi after that. And then in theory, that should be most of my catches. Might have enough room for one, maybe 2 more, and go from there. And then I'm not going to waste too much time trying to figure out who to use. I'm just going to keep using my tried and true combo as long as I can here. For the most part, these two seem to be able to get the job done rather nicely. Definitely like this combination, and it's something that I want to play with maybe going into the MMO. Because if I recall what they were saying from the town halls, just going to quickly take a look at the stats. But for the most part, damn Chikorol, not bad. I might keep you actually. But it sounds like certain playstyles might be kind of locked by certain affinities, for example. So say a healer would probably be nature-based, might be water-based or something like that. But I would love to be able, like my dream scenario with the Overworld, as we do snag this. As we do snag this, big pickup here. Pretty decent Chikorol, actually. I'm not disappointed with this at all. Nice. But the best case scenario for me, I like 2 different playstyles. I guess they kind of mix in together. I'll try and reference other games to kind of gauge it. But see, from World of Warcraft, for example, I really loved the Disc Priest healing style. So it's shielding but you're also healing by doing damage. That I really, really enjoy. I also really enjoyed Affliction Warlock when playing as a damage dealer. Or maybe even a Shadow Priest, for example. I also enjoyed doing that. Then, say for Final Fantasy, then I also enjoyed Scholar. So again, I'm just shielding and preventing damage rather than just topping people off, so to speak. So what I would love, if Toxic in this game somehow played like any of the classes that I explained. Like maybe I do have a couple of supportive spells. Maybe a shield, or maybe like a slow, not a burst heal, but like a small heal over time. But then the rest of the healing be like amplified or something by me doing damage. That would have me in the absolute sweet spot. So I'm very, very curious to see how it'll go. Now, in terms of our Illuvium we have up in front of us here, Virtuous Emberlynx is here. Just have max attack speed. And some just basic decent attack stats, a little lackluster defensively. But I'll probably pick it up anyway. Take a peek at the T-Ruse, nothing to write home about. So, we will take it down in just a moment's time. Get the gang back in place and fire away here. Yeah, as much as I love like doing damage and whatnot, at the same time I am a support main, which tends to not be played as frequently, at least on average. But I love when a support has offensive options as well, even though it might not be the most high-powered, because obviously you need to balance it out somehow. What is that, a 29% chance? I've got a lot of these shards. Let's just use this. Pick up this Emberlynx. Do I have a... No, that's for my... Wrong. Let's see. I do have a Virtuous Emberlynx already, but I would love to snag another. And we will. We'll pick this one up quite nicely. Everybody's cooperating so far here this morning. So now that we've got the Emberlynx, I want to go up into the northeast of the zone, where I believe there was an ace waiting for me. A happy accident that kind of happened on Wednesday after stream. So I had a little bit of time the kids were playing and just being really, really good. It gave me the opportunity to sit down for a final push in the Overworld, which did allow me, so now both in Overworld and in the Illuvium Arena, I am in the top 100. Or at least I was. Maybe not anymore here for Overworlds, but the leaderboards for Overworlds have been taken down for the time being anyway for a couple weeks. So I can happily say, while I had the chance to do it, I did make top 100 in both games. I'm not top 100 in Illuvium 0. I just don't have the high enough tier plots to really truly make that happen. But I'm still like 150th or something along those lines, so I'm still pretty happy about that. Which is kind of funny, because I usually just kind of see myself as a casual enjoyer of the game. But maybe I'm a little bit more of a power user than I like to admit. I'll figure out these caves one day. There we go. To say, at some point I should be... Platforming skills are a little lackluster as usual, but... I'll figure out these caves eventually. And right when I figure them out, Overworld will get taken down because it's MMO time. There we go. A little bit of a ways away, but we do have that ace right around the corner. That's what I'm looking for. Right in the pipeline, or not the pipeline, in between the canyon. There it is. Take it down. I do not have very many aces. I am thankful to have one hollow one. Stats are a little lackluster, but it's okay. It's hollow. I like it still. Go. Alright, so what do we got here? Gorilla. Satofi. Ace. I mean, it's got decent resistance. I'll still, for the sake of collection, pick this one up. Let's give the young guns some playtime here. One too many. Oh. There we go. Get the young fighters some experience while we can. I can't imagine this one taking them down, but I've been wrong before, and that's a lot of damage being done by that ace, my goodness. Did the Caribou live? I think it did. Okay, perfect. A little bit of experience for the little guys. Throw the shard at the ace. Let's see if everybody keeps cooperating right now this morning. Still have another shot if all fails. And they're gonna cooperate. There we go. We're on an absolute roll here this morning. Ace is here. There you are, little guy. I'm not going to worry about the other ones here. Chakondi is probably the next on the docket. And then maybe after that, it's just a matter of picking up a couple of the hollows. I think there was 2 hollow Chukos in this run. Potentially, anyway. Yeah, so I marked this here. There's the Chakondi, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. So this was what? It was another Chikoro if I needed it. I already got that, though. Okay. Chakondi's here. The Chikoro is a hollow. Was there another hollow in this area? I feel like there was. Maybe go for Exalted Apon instead. He's got a couple of fully evolved ones. Got a bit of a traveling distance this time, though, so let's just get moving. Yeah, I swear. In the last stream, I was talking about how whenever I'm traveling out in this area, the fear of open areas, like I feel like something's going to attack me from underground out of nowhere, like a giant sandworm or something. Made the comment back then, and I'll say here now, God forbid, if there ends up being a giant sandworm as a raid boss in the MMO, I will absolutely lose it. There's Chakondi. Pick them up nice and quick. Just over 2,000 energy left, so I have two catches and maybe a rock or two. Quick math. There's a Railu here as well. Decent health, but that's it. Gorilla, nothing to write home about. This Chakondi, though. Max damage, max attack speed. The movement speed is nice as well. And then we have health, so as much as I wish that it did have more Omega power for a little bit of extra burst damage, this thing is still an absolute nuisance, and I want it as soon as I can here. Let's get my suit. Let's get the big guns involved. 55, that should be enough right here, right now. Let's try to catch this Chacondi on the way in. Excuse me, sorry about that. Didn't get to the mute button in time. So the Ranger went down, but the two toxic Illuvials shall stand tall. Very, very nice. Let's pick up this Chacondi. Immediately gonna tier 2 shard it. Stats, at least to me, too good to pass up. There are a lot of people that would fuse over and over again to try and get something even half as good as this one right here, right now. It broke out the first time, though. Come on, don't you dare escape from me with an 87% catch rate. Come on, this one's actually really good too. I would love to be able to get it. Don't make me regret not using a tier 3. Thank you. Goodness gracious. Okay, there we go. Chacondi fully evolved here. Max attack speed, max attack damage, and some decent health and resistances at that. That is an awesome pickup. I was getting worried there for a second, though. It really did seem like that Chacondi was somehow going to be able to break out. Okay. With Chacondi picked up, there is a Chuko Hollow, and then that was the Chikoro that I don't need anymore. Right, it was the Exalted Apon that we were looking at before. Let's take a look here for this Hollow Chuko. Of course, no actual statistical advantage for these Hollow Alluvials, except for the fact that they look cool and they're harder to find than normal. So I am very, very interested still. I love having a Hollow collection or a Shiny collection. Where is the bear? Is it above me? Oh, there you are. There we go. I walked right under it. Okay, Greater Monk here is also in this encounter. As well as this Rai. This Hollow Chuko, though, not bad at all either. I definitely am going to pick this thing up. Let's not fool around. Toxic Squad, come on back. This gives me 2 shots to try and take this thing down. Should be alright. Because not only is that Chuko, or it's not going to be my best Chuko ever, I do have one little Chuko that is probably 95% perfect. I think it's just missing a tiny bit of Omega power, like it's got 140% instead of 150. But this is still a very, very nice Chuko. I imagine there won't be a problem, right? Yeah, there we go. We'll pick this up nice and quick. Good damage all around. Just a little bit lacking on resistances and speed, but at least it still has a little bit of a bonus. So with that being a holo, that's a nice little pickup, once again. This has been a very, very good run in terms of good alluvials, in terms of value. I'm definitely happy to start things off here. I have enough in the tank for one more catch. I currently... How many times do I have to turn this thing off? There we go. We've got either the Exalted Apon. There's another Holo Chuko. I think I need the Exalted Apon more, though. We'll go for that. Because I dove down, though, let me teleport back to my beacon. This thing's definitely a little lifesaver when traveling around areas that have tunnels and areas that have high ground. Hitting T does bring up a little teleporter that you can place, and then just being able to click and hold and teleport back to it is a huge, huge help. Otherwise, I'd be currently lost in the cave tunnels again, trying to find my way out. But right around the corner, what we're looking for next here is an Exalted Apon. It'll be right around here, I imagine. Scoop up the little morphopod. Is it directly underneath me? It would seem. Yeah. So I gotta find a tunnel, apparently. This Exalted Apon is going to be a little difficult like that. I imagine... just down here. That's a Chikoro. But this beautiful cave right here, right inside the fossilized remains, is probably the way to go here. If not, I'll still gladly take a little stroll through here. One of the nicer areas. Keeps telling me I'm going further and further away, though, which is a little concerning. Maybe down this way. Monkey. So I made it all the way to the dang starting point, but not actually at the spot that I was looking for. At least making my trip worthwhile by trying to scoop up a few more of these. Of course, I can send these through the transducer that's in the Overworld. I can send these to my Illuvium 0 plot and make it so that getting skins is just that much quicker. You get a little bit of a bonus of sorts. If I can actually aim. Thank you. There we go. So trying to make the detour worth it here. So I went all the way around and have still yet to find this Apon. Where the heck did it go? Why is it being so difficult? Were you just up here, potentially? Oh my god, you were up here the whole time. I don't think I've ever seen an alluvial up here, so I didn't even think twice about it. Yep, it was right on the archway. Well, we did a lap around Crimson Wastes. because I didn't expect that app-on to be up there at all. My goodness. That's funny. Alright, so the big app-on there in the back. This is what I'm looking for. This one would end up being skin fodder, but we do actually have a hollow T-Roo here as well. Both the T-Roos actually aren't bad, but I think I'm still going to just end up going for the app-on instead. If I really, really wanted to, finding hollowed out T-Roos are not that difficult. Meanwhile, getting exalted app-ons, getting these higher stage alluvials, these evolved alluvials, are not a guarantee in every run, so to speak. It's too bad, though. This one is actually decently decent in terms of health and resistances, but I don't think it's going to be enough to warrant me not going for app-on. So the thing here with T-Roo is, like, you're not really using it early. The only time you really throw T-Roo into the fight is once you've at least evolved it into its middle stage, so that you can get the Revenant buff, and then from there, you're basically fine. You don't have to keep going any higher, unless you're playing Shock, but let's be honest, most people aren't playing Shock right now. App-on broke out of the first one. Try this again here. There we go. Scooped up the app-on. Get back to Sanctum Mesa as quickly as we can, and we might have time for one more here. It's only 10:30 my time. If I hustle and maybe don't get lost as much in this next run, then maybe I can sneak another in. Still need to try and find some Riley. Teleport back, and then where's the nearest plant or something I can shoot? Maybe that rock will do. There we go. This way I used up all my energy. But with that, we should be able to get the Chocoral skin. Maybe we can make that real quick before we hop in. Well, there's a couple of the alluvials from my other run coming on through. But a good Monday, or not a good Monday, but a good start to the day, rather. Scared myself here thinking it was Monday. No, it's Friday. It's almost the weekend. It's almost Illuvium Pro League finale time. There we go. The Chocoral Mozart skin is here. And we would get rid of one, two, and which one would I want more? Then three, because I have the other one coming still through the processor now. So we can scoop this up. What is my PC setup? So in terms of the certain specs of it, this was technically not something that I purchased. Back at my old work, they did have to deal with some gaming PCs, so I have a very, very old Alienware. I say very old, it's probably a 2018 Alienware. So it's not the greatest of PCs. Or, I mean, it's a fantastic PC, don't get me wrong. But it's not like a top-of-the-line gaming PC by any means. But it does play this rather well, lets me stream, lets me edit, lets me do what I need to do. In terms of graphics, let me see if I can actually take a peek at that without breaking anything. Yeah, like this thing here is a very, very old, a GeForce 1070, so that's how old this thing is, with 16 gigs of RAM. Nowadays, most gaming PCs have like 32 gigs, and the graphics card is definitely very, very, very strong at that. But that's what I like about this. Thankfully, this computer has aged very well, to the point where even some of the more modern titles, I can play at least low settings at 60 FPS. The only game recently that I tried, that I genuinely got angry at because of my computer not being able to handle it very well, was I tried to play Monster Hunter Wilds. And I beat the initial story of that game and whatnot, but I had to do it at the equivalent of 144p resolution. Like, it was fuzzy. I had my resolution scaling down to like 50% to even get 30 FPS. Now, I do know that Monster Hunter Wilds as a whole on PC, I think, had a lot of graphical and performance issues. So, like, I can't fully blame that on my computer, but that was the only time that I've recently had to be like, wow, this thing is a little underpowered. Arcane Emberlinks is in this one. We're definitely going to take a look at that. What is this rock nearby? That one's for armor. Not going to worry about it. A Forus is here! A tier 5 has snuck into my run. Oh boy, we're definitely taking a peek at that. See what else we got going on before we take a look. A hollowed out Caradulo. Awesome to see. I think I saw an Exalted Gorilla here as well. Very cool. Another Exalted Gorilla. And Sepphoris is here as well. Kukuraf. We got a couple fully evolved Illuvials here. Okay. Forus. You're first on my list. This is gonna be tough as hell. Tier 5s are ridiculous to catch, let alone a middle stage evolution. Do I actually even have a Forus? No, this would be my first if I can get it. Excuse me. Choking and anxiety with this Forus being here. I don't want to screw this up. I have to find it first and foremost, though. Which, of course, it's Crimson Waste. That's a challenge in its own right now, isn't it? Probably up on the surface. Let's get up there. Okay. Place you here, just in case I have to come back. Alright, where are you at? Should be right around the corner here somewhere. The tier 5, the Forus, is underneath me, it looks like. Let's go. There it is. Alright. Locking it down is not the hard part. This next part is. I do have tier 5 shards, thankfully, and I'm not in a spot where I have to try and use tier 4s. But still, I imagine that the catch percentage, like the catch rate on this, is going to be stupid low even with my tier 5 shard. It might run away from me here today. Okay, we need to lock this thing down first and foremost. It's my sword. Reminds me, I am good against grass as a ground type, so that is good. Okay. Kiradulo, we need you to tank, but we need the monk gear. And what else do I bring? How much should I... This costs 70, eh? So I could only bring in a little guy before I lose the shot at getting 2 shots here. As long as we focus down the forest, set it up something like this. I care to let's tank a little bit. Monk here short to follow. Ranger, you run stupid fast anyway. This gets me right up to 74, so I'd still have 2 shots. I'm even gonna go as far as popping some consumables onto my guys here. Health and resistances, sure, that's fine. Damage and speed, yes, go ahead. Damage and speed, go ahead. Alright, Forest. Let's get you while we can. It does a lot of damage back, though. We are going to be able to do it. I might have been a little bit too scared about it, but rather be safe than sorry. Now here's the hard part. First off, let's take a look at these other stats. That's actually a hollow rye that did show up with it. But this is incredible. Max attack speed, max attack damage here onto this forest. It is a 22% chance to capture with the best shard that I have. Oh boy. We have 2 shots to get this. Odds are not in our favor. But I'd absolutely love to be able to bring this thing home. Come on. Oh, it's immediately gonna break out. One more try. One more try. It's such a crappy percent, though. Okay, at least made it through the first part. Come on, Forrest. Stay in there. Oh. It wasn't meant to be today. We used up our good luck earlier, apparently. Damn. That one definitely hurts. Well, we'll try to shake it off. Obviously, that sucks, but now... Hop on over. There is still an Arcane Ember Lynx that I am interested in picking up. I think I have 1 Arcane Ember Lynx so far, but it did not have very good stats, I don't think. Ugh. Did I just go back to the same point? I did, didn't I? Yeah. Whoopsie, I went right back to the Thoris's location. Ugh. I'll try to shake that one off, but that definitely hurt. Like a fisherman's big catch, I'm gonna be thinking about the one that got away. Still lock down this Arcane Ember Lynx, hopefully. Okay, let's take a look here. The Lynx itself, yeah, that's pretty lackluster in terms of stats. This Apon's kind of nice, though. Heck, even the T-Roo's kind of nice, but again, it's just a T-Roo. Maybe we pick up a couple of these little guys due to their stats. Maybe I can make something out of them in a fusion sometime down the road. Maybe there can be a world where we scoop up all three. Just a matter of dealing with that root cub. There it goes. There was another hollow Caradulo, I think, in this run, right? Somewhere towards the south, I think? But here, to try and min-max this, because there's so many Illuvials with decent stats, just gonna throw around these tier 2s like they're candy. And potentially we can catch all three of these. Alright, we scoop up the Roo. See if we could scoop up the Apon. There it is. No perfect stats, but 5 of them being almost perfect is still pretty cool. And last but not least, the Lynx will eventually be skin fodder whenever we're actually able to craft with Lynx skins. Of course, I absolutely love the Lynxes and want to have their cosmetics as fast as I possibly can. So even though this one has rather lackluster stats, still want to have it because I want to have at least enough for a drone and a suit for each one. So I need basically 6 of each Illuvial. We'll scoop those up. And then take a look. I think it was the Caradulo that I wanted to take a look at next. Yeah, right down here, there's Caradulo, Exalted, Exalted. So let's take a look at that. Just down this way. Right there. Scoop that up. Snag the Morphopod. Now we'll see what happens here. I'm probably just looking for Hollow Caradulo to maybe eventually fuse into a Hollow Caradulox. Because right now, the Caradulo that I've been actually using on my team is pretty strong as is. Let's see. Yeah, like it's actually really, really good as is right now. Just missing a little bit of resistances and Omega power. So it's going to take a lot in order to really outdo it. And this one's definitely not going to be that, so we'll scoop it for the fusion. But leave it at that. I know it's not going to be like this forever, so it's probably pointless to implement now, but I would have loved if there was a way here in the Overworld to just have like saved presets of my teams, so I can say hit 1, and then immediately my Riplance and Caradulo come onto the board kind of thing. Minor time save though. Nothing too major. We'll scoop that nice and quickly. That is another hollowed out Caradulo. Statistically, not the greatest, but a hollow is a hollow, and I'm happy to have it. Everything feels a little more sour, though, since that forest ran. Not going to lie. There's just so much that kind of went right for that scenario, and then it just ended up going wrong. Because, like, first off, finding a tier 5 in a stage 1 run in general is extremely rare. Finding an evolved form of a tier 5 in a stage 1 run is even rarer. But we got ourselves into the right place. We had the right shards, we were prepared for it. It just did not pay off here today. And this is why when, say, people are going into stage 3 runs, like, they're going into the marketplace and they're picking up master shards. And, like, I even try to think about it, even if I had a master shard, would that have been an encounter that I wanted to use it on? I'm not guaranteeing that it would have been. But nonetheless, we're looking at this Exalted Gorilla. This thing is absolutely going to be skin fodder. That is brutal in regards to stats. In fact, this Rye was way better, but given the rarity difference, I'm probably still going to snag the Gorilla. Or skin fodder. Scoop you up. There's still one more Exalted Gorilla right nearby, so as much as I kind of do want to just pick up the Rye, we'll probably just let it go. There we go. Gorilla is here. And let's continue. Oh. One more gorilla right next door. Right there, I think, right? Yeah, there we are. Make sure to check the top. Whoa. Oh, it's there was a Rye up here. That's interesting. Now I'm gonna be paranoid and checking the top of cliffs all the time. There's the gorilla. Take this for experience later. Snag you. And hop on in. Snag this gorilla, head back to Sancta Mesa, and get ready to hop into the arena. Snag 2, maybe 3 games there. Let's see, statistically, what are we looking like here this time? Going, of course, for this Exalted Gorilla. That's my Rip Lance. Another gorilla that is absolutely potato stats. I find another... I don't know what it is about finding Chukos over and over and over again that are actually fantastic. But I have one that's even better than that, so I'm... probably is just going to still go for the gorilla for the sake of skins. Oh. I'll scoop it up nicely and get a move on. Yeah, that... I can't get over that damn forest, man. Like, I'm genuinely sad that it ran away. It has been a long time since a game has made me feel that way, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, because if you go into the Stage 2 runs, or especially if you go into Stage 3 runs, the chances of finding Tier 5s are just that much higher, but it's still not even necessarily like a guaranteed thing.
The serenity of the sea, just what I needed.
Let's take a look and see where we're at progression-wise here for skins. Of course, we did not find a Riley at all in either of those 2 runs, nor did we find Malura. But we did at least find a bunch of Exalted Gorillas and Appons. We'll see what's available here to potentially craft. Yeah, the Exalted Appon Mozart drone is something we can make. Is there enough of them that I'm willing to get rid of? This one for sure, this one for sure. And yeah, we can actually just make this right here, right now. So snagging that Exalted Appon from earlier sets us up nicely to be able to make this Mozart skin. And it's still a very, very positive and like day full of progress. This would be a dupe, this is a dupe. I still need to make this, but I don't have enough. And then I don't have enough Lynxes, so we're on pause for a little bit for the rest of it. But we still did make some pretty decent progress. I'll be hopping into this arena in just a second. One thing I did want to show off, those who saw on X might have seen this already, but I was extremely happy. Of course, I had found this Arcane Floor Lakes a long time ago. Or a long time ago, maybe a month ago. Was very, very happy. Got myself an Arcane Lynx, which is, first off, like, my favorite form of the Lynxes. Finding the Floor Lynx and a Hollow made me super, super happy. And then finding this Arcane Lynx here, the Hydra Lynx, seeing those stats right to the right of me here, nearly perfect, right? So I was very, very excited for that, but I wished it was Hollow. Then I found this beauty in my final push. My final push on the Overworld leaderboard on Wednesday. Tiny bit worse than my Hydra Lynx. However, hollowed out like this, with this good of stats, this is easily my favorite Illuvial in my collection so far. Without further ado, quickly reboot the game to get ready to get into the arena. Overall positive experience here today, of course, finding the 3 skins total. We did the Rhoda right off the start. We got the Chocoral drone as well, the one that looked like it had fire underneath it. That was really cool. We'll take a look at that when we're in the arena. And then just got to close out there with the Appon. Of course, the biggest heartbreaker, though, in that run was the fact that that Forest with max attack speed and max damage ran from us. I'll get over it eventually, I'm sure. I will hop into the arena, and I'm not gonna lie, the arena as of the last couple of days, or this entire week, has been extremely positive for me. I have been climbing like mad, and I don't know what it is, if it's just because I've been kind of focusing in on maybe 2 game plans instead of being super flexible, Like, look at this, 1,500. I think I'm tied for my best. I'm actually gold. And currently, as it stands, 68th in the world. So I'm very, very excited and happy about that. And let's see, to celebrate getting that Exalted App-on skin, maybe we rock... Is this the Rota one? Let's take a look at this Rota one first. There we go. That's the Rota, so we just made that one. But then this right here, this is a pretty cool set if I do say so myself. Like it a lot, actually. This is one of the few ones where going from lesser to greater to exalted, like, actually really stands out. And I really like it. And since we're an app on, let's actually go to the Battle Pass battle board, because I feel like it kind of blends in with us and makes a little bit more of a full package, so to speak. I know the app-on's main home is more so Crimson Waste, but the purple, the pink aesthetic, the darkness of the battle board here for Brightland Steps, I feel like it kind of suits it a little better. And of course, earlier this week, we completed the Battle Pass, first ever Battle Pass that I've ever completed on any game. Very excited to have been able to have had that opportunity to be able to do that. And the one build that's been really crushing it here, or at least personally, of course, has been a lot of Aegis stuff, especially Aegis teams that I'm well rehearsed at this point. But also getting the Aqua Blaster has gotten me a lot of wins. Picking up Aqua Blaster when nobody else has, and just being able to either go for Steam Harbinger with an Umber, or if they're contesting me for Umber, just going for Invoker with the Aqua Blaster, has been doing extremely, extremely well for me. So if I see the Aqua Blaster in my weapon lineup, I will definitely pause and see what everybody else is doing. It's probably been my most consistent top 4 option, if not most consistent win option. I had a streak of 3 wins in a row yesterday, in fact, with 2 of those being because of an Aqua Blaster. Region this time is going to be Crimson Waste, dealing more damage to people that have more health than me, so it means it's time to take a hit early. I would be completely content with getting some damage done to me early on here in this game. Couple of players that I do recognize from casually playing, and then of course Luke Keats was an IPL finalist. A very, very strong player as well. Nature Empath is the Lynx this time. Getting a lot of health augments. Then at the same time, I could potentially go for a Bruiser augment as of this moment. Maybe set myself up with a perfect setup for Aegis. But at the same time, if we do end up going something Scion heavy, this would be a little bit dumb. Let's get that emergency button nice and quick here. Some extra health onto the Lynx. Have everybody get to the back. Try and spread them out as best as we possibly can. Lynx will take the first brunt of damage, but at least it has that emergency button. Once it drops down to, I believe it's about 50. Sends the untargetable off. Move some of that damage over to the Rye instead. 3 on 2. And just like that, even though we were down a level, since we did spend our augments extremely early, we will be in a good spot. But now, let's take a look weapon-wise. Water Gauntlet I am never going to use. This I'm probably never going to use. We've got a choice now. So, Elderwood Staff or Buckler. I think I am more content with the Buckler in this scenario. Let's get ourselves leveled up to 4. Add Fleesh in for a little extra firepower. Those two are going to dive directly into a bunch of them, while the Lynx tanks for just a little bit, goes untargetable, splits the focus of their Illuvials. Good backup from the Fleesh, but the Lynx is going to end up falling before that next Omega comes out. There's a lot of low health bars, but okay, we do end up finishing them off. Beautiful. That works out. Combat Rhythm is definitely a nice pick in this instance. Not going to say no to that. Okay. Leash needs to come back around. Something like this for now. Necro Boy here does have the level onto us. Augments are split across 2 Illuvials, but that should still be fine for them, I imagine. Big damage done to the Ranger. If maybe Rye and the Lynx can work together here, this can be quite nice. And now it is a 1v2. I should, in theory, lose this. If we could kill off the Atipo before using our Omega, it could have been much closer. But because we had to use it on the Atipo, it will not go into our favor. I was going to keep building credits here. Again, I do not mind taking damage early here. A Fleesh, the other side. Rye, move over here. In theory, we catch and burn this Valente extremely quickly. They're all focusing it down, which is good. They have no escape route, so they will absolutely get clobbered. Even comes out before their Omega does, so that's pretty huge. Lynx is going to take a good chunk of damage, and my Fleesh's cast did get stopped early, so... Wrecking, doing exactly as their name should imply, destroying my team, but that's alright. Loading up on credits as of this point before I decide exactly where do I want to steer the ship. And the one thing that makes me happy, yes, of course, I'm going up against somebody who's also using an Ember Buckler, but we can see from their team, at least the way it is right now, it is much different than what I am planning here. They're going for basically full firepower, which can work by all means. Full Fire is still a very, very strong team, do not get me wrong. But that is not at all what I'm going for. In fact, I'm going for the opposite. I don't want firepower, I want defensive play. So I'm going to be going more so towards the Wildfire Aegis, is kind of what I'm thinking here. Going for that style too is going to help me if I do end up going up against Wrecking, if they do find True Invoker. Finding the Lynx for some extra heals is a nice benefit. I'm going to trade some of my Illuvials here around. There is another Archie. We can do something. Oh, they're all gonna dive, aren't they? Okay. Do something like this. This is just universally a very good piece. Do something like that. And we'll almost be maxed out on interest in just a moment's time here. That's a lot of low-level alluvials here for Fred, so even though they might swarm us and take my fleece down, everything else might be alright as soon as my Lynx starts casting. Some pretty decent heals. Keeps Akiradulo alive for a little while. Grocko, unfortunately, was just not able to get into that fight because I positioned it rather poorly. It does look like the numbers game is just going to be enough, though. See if maybe we can take one or two of these alluvials down, though, to make the pain hurt a little bit less. And that is alright. Level 5 now. Fern is here. That is eventually going to be my carry of choice. What I do need to find, now that we're here at level 5... I mean, I'll take that, I'll take these, but I'm looking for one more Archie. I need to get to Archos sooner rather than later. Because that's what enables the Aegis side of things here. Missing a few of my tanks here as well. I would love to have an Atlas, for example, going into Axon. Boost Jake does also have the level up on me, so they have that numbers game, and very, very similar scenario where it looks like I'm just going to end up getting swarmed down. Having that phase breaker is quite nice to keep the heals coming for at least a little bit longer. Does take out a couple of alluvials, but not too many. Round 10, and there is Archos. That is a huge pickup right here, right now. Let's get rid of this. Let's spread our guys out. So we now have, our course, our Archos on the scene. Am I ready to supercharge a Fern, though? I do not think so. So what I'm actually going to do instead is supercharge a Lynx. This is a little messy, but this might work. I'm going to put the extra investment from the interest that I currently have into my level. Because now that I do have Archos, the next goal is getting Crunk, potentially a Blotto, and then finding more Ferns. So I need to get at least to level 7 to truly get my best odds going. Optimally, for getting up to Fern, I need level 8. But focusing on the tank line too, say the Kling and the Headies, I need at least level 7. We were able to win that one anyway, though, so a nice bonus here for us, breaking that lose streak. Damage reduction, no thank you. Stun duration, potentially. Healing, yes, this is the one that I like the best. One more Lynx to the squad. Let's add some more levels. The potential for finding a floor, or the virtuous floor Lynx, is a thing as well. This all being rogues, this is Luke Keats coming at me, eh? Alright. We will defensively put our Fern near the front. I do have an extra level that I did not take into consideration. Fleesh will come onto the field, and it's actually not in a bad spot, all things considered. If we can keep this Lynx alive, it should do a bunch of damage, but you can see they're kind of getting swarmed on. The Untargetable is going to buy me a little bit of time, as long as the Ranger stays alive, which it's not going to for very, very long. That will be the end of that. Lukeets with a very, very strong squad to start things off here, it looks like. Okay. we need to build our tank line here. The attack speed's not bad. I like that idea. Part of me also likes getting the bulwark chip, but I think I need the attack speed to truly let my Fern shine in this instance. I'm happy to see an NPC round. Chance to breathe a little bit and start pushing to level 7, which we should be able to hit without question going into this next round. Optimally, I need some attack damage augments, though. Because I have the one for Omega Power, that is nice. I mean, Fernite, Blasonite, what have you, does do some decent damage. A composite crate. Which way do I want to do this? It's probably Aegis, right? I think Aegis will be the answer here. So by having another Aegis unit, what I can do is give the tank units there. The Lynx is now also going to be Aegis. And in theory, it looks something like this. Let's see, energy. Go over here, let's get another level in. And screw it, let's put a app-on on here for more damage amplification. While this battle is going, I am going to go take a look and see what I can find. A Heady is something that I need. Flare potentially would be cool as well. Maybe instead of a Caradulo, we go for Flare. There is Fernite. I really don't want to wait around to pick it up, and I can't get tier 0s anymore anyway. I can clean the bench of that. And Fern still lives, at least for a good while. It will finally end up falling here, because that Fern shot's going to go into the Rue Cub instead. 2 on 2, but at least one is a healer. A big shield here. We have 4 empath, actually, with what we're currently rocking with. So we are barely going to be able to take out Fred. The Truce Site. Is there any purpose for this right now? Nobody's going air. No. We'll take the healing one, and we do find, hello beautiful, the fully evolved Virtuous Floor Lynx is here. Maybe, oh no, I'm gonna do the 1-for-1 trade. Well, maybe we can keep Caribou in here. And now we get rid of Appon. This does give us 5 bulwark. That, to me, at least personally, is a much bigger power spike compared to what we had before. And now Fernite is here for additional DPS. Doesn't have Wildfire just yet. I need to get a Crunk, in theory. If we can get Cling involved, nice. That can replace my Groko. And then look at the coverage here of my Lynx when it heals. It's so much more healing now. It has just covers so much more range. Good untargetable. It just makes them go dancing. They can't even find a target at this moment. This is so interesting because normally you'd want to put that Phase Breaker onto one of your DPS carries. But it's screwing with the pathing so bad here of my opponents. With it being on the Lynx like this. So we'll take it. Not going to be able to get up to max interest. A Mammoth is literally just going to show itself just directly here in front of me. I am tempted to scoop it up, but at the same time I don't necessarily have builds going with Scion. I mean, unless I start looking for Scoriox, maybe? It is contested compared to the Blazonite, so I'm going to keep moving. One more Fern to the table. Let's move my drone out of here. Looking strong, looking healthy. Looking very, very good. I mean, we gotta deal with that Riptorus, though. Big ol' heal onto that Lynx, keeping us in the game just a little bit longer. Need it one more time. Can it take care of Riptorus? It's extremely low. And it will, I think, just barely be able to do it. Okay, Hetty is here. Fury is here as well. Maybe I'll pick it up just because I can. Okay, there's Hetty. We now have Wildfire online. I'm going to move my tank augments over to the Hetty. The Blasonite potential is real. Optimally now, I think I just get a Scarabok and it replaces Caradulo. Now their Furiox is going to be able to go hyper onto my team, which is going to be a bit problematic. It's going to get some more damage and more attack speed, of course. Still wishing I had a couple of attack damage augments for my Fernite. But we might be able to just do it off of spell casts alone here. It's hard to see in the arena. I can't see the tornado really going out. But we are going to be able to burn it down here, it looks like. Perfect. NPC rounds coming around the corner. We do get our Caradulo at least, so a nice little buff to start us off here. There is one more Fern. Anybody? Okay, Necroboy is actually going for Fern as well now that I see. How much do they have on the bench? They have one here, eh? So I could get myself into a trap by constantly rolling. Going up against them, but they are having a bit of a hard time. So I think I'm going to take the risk here and put my credits towards levels instead for these next couple rounds. AoE damage, yes please. This is a synergy crate. Is there nature by chance? No, you're not going to give me nature, eh? Yeah, literally all of these do me no good. I can just do it for the sake of resistances here with the earth. Let me buff up my Crunk one more time. Give my Fernite a little bit more in terms of... Excuse me, in terms of Omega Power. And let's add Apon back into the fray for some supportive damage amplification. Maybe our lack of damage augments can kind of be mitigated by the power of Apon. Now, Ranger and Caradulo, though, are kind of trapped. I'm going to have to definitely remember to make a fix for that going into our next round. Tank line holding strong, Lynx doing exactly what they need to do. Wish I had Caradulo into this fight, though, that's for sure. But the Wildfire, yeah, we're cooking. This is looking good so far. And look, Necroboy actually just got knocked out. So this is going to be perfect. I have my best possible scenario. Where I'm level 8. I have my best chance at tier 4s right now. Tier 5 units, no, I'm just going to go for the Omega Power, or not the Omega Power, the Omni Vamp. I should get that Scarabok. Make the switch here with Caradulo, so I now have 3. Excuse me. 3 Earth for additional mitigation. There's Fern. One more, potentially. Hetty, I'll gladly accept you. Flare. That was one roll too many, but I do find Hetty. Well, we're not in bad shape in the slightest. Just the one burn away from finding Blazonite. I mean, Umbers can definitely become a problem. Let's see how this goes, as Riptorus was a thorn in our side, figuratively and literally, in the last couple of fights. My tanks seem to have gotten evaporated. But the healers are keeping the backline alive. This is looking not terrible, not a sure thing just yet. But with the rake falling, we will be able to get the job done beautifully. And with that, everybody just dies. So now we're here in the top 4. Eddie, Flare, and Blazonite. It is here. Beautiful. So Boost Jake has a couple of Krunks. Does anybody else have Krunk? It is just Boost Jake. So let's see. If we can knock them out right here, right now, that'd be my next rolling target. I do have my Ranger in the back line, thankfully, to at least save my Blazonite for the time being. That Ranger and Rake were definitely looking to get the jump on them. But with having 3 Wildfire now, we're going to start seeing that spread a lot more, helping keep my Krunk and help keep my Ranger and Fernite alive, at least for trickle damage. Burst damage is still going to be a problem, though, and that's where the Lynx and that's where the Archos are here to try and bail the squad out. By the time they get to my Blazonite, it is way too late. It is just constantly being pumped up with 2 separate heals. And we do it quite nicely. Scarabok. Not gonna find anything else after that. So Rogue Revenant, of course it's Rogue Revenant. We do have Lukeets in this instance, probably going 99% chance they're gonna just push my rear end in this instance, without question. I'm going to flip which sides they're on. And make a little catch pad kind of like that. But of course, it's going to be that penguin that's the biggest nuisance in this fight. Apon's going to get deleted pretty well instantaneously. And trying to actually get finishing blows is going to be the problem here with this composition, because the Revenants just keep shielding you over and over and over again. Thankfully, we do some okay damage in regards to keeping ourselves alive. Took a few Alluvials out, but yeah, like this Penguin's just not touched. And I expect that to essentially be the tail of the tape here in this one. And it's the thing, Rogue Revenants, like, without getting Revenant 4, so like no composite chips, it's probably like an okay composition. But as soon as it finds 4, it gets pretty insane. Scarabok to Goliath, that's a nice little find there. One more Heady. The potential for a 4th Aegis is around the corner. If I could find this final Heady. And Wrecking does not have it. I feel like I should be able to crush the squad here from Wrecking, to be completely frank with you. I guess that Scarabok or the Furiox is kind of scary, but what else does it have really with them? Not much, I don't think. So, let's see, max health every couple seconds. This is Wrecking the ghost we're playing up against, eh? And then shield into resistances. Let's give that to you. Let's give Krunk more healing. Do something like this. There is Heady. Now going to be all the way up into a Blotto. Buff that Blazonite even more. And then I just got to figure out what I want to do with my Apon. One thing I will for sure need, though, is more bodies on the field to try and just slow down these rogues. So, I'm going to try and hold my credits at the maximum interest level, which of course is 70. And just try to level up a little bit. As to what I'm going to put onto the bench or onto the field, that is a great question. Wrecking did get taken down by Lukeets, so it's going to be Lukeets and I in a one-on-one to finish off the game. Like, what do they even necessarily need in this point? I'm not even sure. Okay, let's bring our tanks all to the back. I don't see how I can easily... Oh, can I just cover it up like this without triggering the Aegis away, potentially? Goliath can still stay here. Let's level up. These two might be my picks, actually. I mean, Mammoth's not a bad idea either. For this fight, we're gonna put Quinks in here. Or not Quinks, but Winks in the fight. Hador's not a bad idea either, to be honest. Alright, their ram fight is literally just taking a nap in the corner, so that is a blessing. Blasonite has not been touched yet, but neither has the Penguin, so I imagine we will get clobbered in just a moment's time. A very, very decisive fight. Yeah, Palazzo's not going to be long for this world. And that was with their ramp fight not being involved in the slightest. It's frankly terrifying. What do I even need to get the win? I couldn't tell you. Could not tell you at all. Not gonna find a great option either, per se, so... Just gonna add one more empath, and it's the best that we can do here. Lukeet's wisely going to move that ramp fight out of there and just sacrifice the Revenant of the T-Ru instead. A much better choice. As the Alluvials all end up falling slowly but surely, we'll have to probably be happy with second here. A lot of low health bars. They are burning. But the big problem, of course, is the fact that that Penguin still has a full HP bar. Nicely done protecting the carry. We will fall in second. GG's, Lukeets. Rogue Revenant looking good and piloting well to get the job done there. Yeah, so there we go. Game number 1, Wildfire Aegis doing quite well. Very little contesting as well. Only the one other player was going for Fernite at that point. Just had to wait them out. Play the leveling game instead of the rolling game. And we were in great shape. Definitely happy with how that one ended up going. Quick music swap here. All right. So let's see, what do we end up going for next time by? And this is so weird. I'm getting some high placements. I'm not used to getting so little rating on winning. But it is what it is. We've got probably enough time here for one more arena game. Then we'll hop into Illuvium 0 for a couple of minutes just to take a look and see if our scanners found anything on any of our plots. Then we'll call it a night. I'll try to rest as best as possible because we have an exciting weekend ahead of us, of course. Illuvium Pro League, the finale is this weekend. Saturday, of course, we're going to go from our top 16 down to the top 8. And then all the points get reset for a checkmate style game. And it will be incredible to see. Of course, in terms of who is my pick to win, I called it out at the beginning of the stream on last week on Wednesday, I believe. I said Sota was going to win the entire thing. No pressure. But so far you're doing fantastic. Keep it up, Sota. That's not meant to be that I'm rooting against anybody, though, by any means. Just the way that I see it, of all the players in the top 16, I see Sota the most in my chat. And if you're going to support me, I'll support you right back. But it is good to see the other players, of course, that made it on in there. Thanatos, the absolute legend, just constantly sneaking into the, like the last couple of spots moving on. A very anxiety-induced way to play, but they're getting the job done. So way to go to them as well. A nature florally, or excuse me, a nature lynx for the fighter type. The relentless floor lynx, that's what it is our pick this time. Crimson Waste once again. This is just raw 2 damage every time you lose, so we've got to hit the gas kind of quickly. Let's see. Is there any sort of sneaky stuff that I can make this time? No. What I refer to when I say something sneaky, I'm thinking of like team compositions that you normally cannot build unless a certain tier 0 comes along. It does not look like any of those are going to fall in my lap here today, but I'm always looking for them. Okay, let's load you up with damage. And I think just to get the maximum buff here up against Clemson, I think I need to move everybody back and bring a second Doka. Just try to swarm down this Valente. It is probably going to kill off my Ranger, but at least the augments for them will be off the board. And then my 2 Dokas can clean up nicely. Just in a matter of breaking out a Tipo, and there we go, all the damage is gone. Potentially bring App on here as well, because the way these augments are going does open its doors to a certain play style. The Aqua Blaster. I have like 3 of my favorite weapons all here. And nobody, I think, took... Alright. It's Aqua Blaster time. 100% that's the way we're gonna go. Losing actually hurts a lot in this one, so let's try to push for and see if Madokas can help clean up. They have their augments onto a Tipo, so I hope that the team can get the job done here. Nothing wrong with a Tipo, but in terms of a DPS unit, it doesn't necessarily fit the role, so having these damage augments are going to, in theory, hurt it. Granted, so is this Fleece Shot. Okay, it's going to get the job done because I could not tuck in behind my Rukub. Nicely done there, Yeet. Making it work. Omnivamp is definitely going to be welcome. Let's get... I took the wrong Doka out. That's unfortunate. What I can do... something like this. Not optimal. I'd rather have my Doka in the back. Actually, it's not going to be attacked right off the rip, so I kind of get away with it. I do need the cling at some point, so I am going to take it. Alright. We'll take that. I'll sell off Rue. Keep the Doka there for now until I have an additional carry. Tofi, you'll be accepted. I'll gladly take Caribou as well. Lynx, you can come play. In fact, Lynx, you can probably... Actually, no, let's do this instead. Everybody tuck in here with App on, because I want everybody to get a damage amplification buff from App on. Probably should have moved my augment off of my Tofi, though. It does get the shot off before it goes down, at least, so... Wasn't all for naught. This Rogue Ranger is definitely going to be a pain in the side, though. Takes down both of them. Take the one down. It's a little less damage, at least. But yeah, Crimson Waste is definitely going to punish us a little bit. I'm going to end up getting rid of the Dokas. I saw there was one more in the shop, but Doka's not what I need right now. Anybody going for TNT at all? No, it does not appear so. Level myself up to 5. Let's get another tank online here. Kling can come join us. I think optimally I have one too many Scions out right now, so I can switch Flish out here in a minute. That is a lot of attack damage augments, my goodness. I'll take Disruptive. There's an App-on, there's an Archie, 2 good pickups. Okay. So, with this, Tofi, come hide in the corner. Here with the Ranger. While having the additional protection from, say, Caribou. Bunker up like this for now. I should keep everybody safe. Unfortunately, Tofi doesn't really attack that fast, so it's obviously not going to get the most use of these attack damage augments, but they're probably going to get the best use of it of everybody that I currently have, so... Not having an Atlas right now is kind of devastating. Not been able to find it so far. Okay. Thank you, game. That was ridiculous. Okay. With this now happening, we can change things up a little bit. Then, Axon, you can come on up. Do something like this. And bunker up a little bit. That was quite the round. This now gets us Harbinger online. And optimally, I need to now find Caribou to get Toxic. And I'll have my Toxic Harbinger set up for this early game at least. Like, this is still pretty scary though, because of the game mode or because of the region with it being Crimson Waste round. This comp does heavily rely on me, like, taking damage pretty early. And with Crimson Waste, that could put me into a bad spot. Wish it and it shall show up. Here is our Caradulo once again, but I do need to switch out this guy here, get the Toxic online. I'm not going for Lynx this time. You can have a rest, dear Lynx. I'm sure we'll play together again sometime soon. And now it's just a matter of looking into the next levels. Juri already up to level 7, having the 1 dash. Like, this team comp still has the ability to be flexible, thankfully. You can go into Scion, or you can go into Umber. With 2 people having dashes, that doesn't worry me too much, but if God forbid people start finding rakes, then we could be in for a world of hurt. A couple nice last snipes gonna at least reduce some of the damage here. It's still gonna end up taking another one. Yeah, Resistance Piercing seems to be the one I see people using most often, so we'll snag that. Bump up a little bit more. I can add a 4th water thanks to this Groko. Or would I rather just have damage amp? Do something a little bit more spread out and bring Appon back in here. Not the cleanest bunker, but at the same time, this isn't the team that's going to abuse me for it here. Plebson, more of a fighter-based squad this time by. We've got the stuns, we've got the roots, we got a lot of disruption. What we still don't have is really somebody who could capitalize on some of these damage augments that I have. If only I could give the Ranger those augments. That would be absolutely incredible. But it'd probably be kind of busted. We will hold, though. The extra damage might have just been enough. Fortress Protocol, not a bad pick. Considering I should, in theory, have 5 bulwarks. Now I can bring Groko in. Spread out so nobody's getting trapped. Something like that. Going into level 8 is where I'll need to find 1 more bulwark, hopefully the flare optimally to get the steam online if I did want to go for the Steam Harbinger style with a dash, but I do see that I'm fighting people for it already. It looks like Aflanc does have a rake already. I'm curious as to how far along they would end up being. Is this a composite? Oh, it is. Interesting. Okay, so Harbinger is 100% the way to go. With the snowballing, we have damage augments. We just need damage. There's level 8. I think I'll just throw Fleesh on here for now. Funnily enough, let's do something stupid like that for now until I end up getting my 5th bulwark. I need the 5th bulwark and then start finding some dashes, hopefully. Oh, good shot there onto the Fury, at least there from the Fleesh. It's becoming a good little supportive caster, just putting the clumsy onto everybody and shooting the right targets. Honestly, good on you, Fleesh. Doing pretty good here this game. Second in terms of damage, alright. A little Fleesh that could, apparently. Attack speed. You know what? Sure. Oh, cool. We got both of you. Alright. With us being Scion-based right now, a little bit torn as to what I want to do here with my augments, but finding at least another Sinolf is kind of at least putting me in the right direction here. This is Afflunk. This is the one person that is taking the rake in this instance. Granted, they only have the one, though. There's no other ones on their bench, so I'm actually not that far behind. Give me a good cast onto their Alfie and through at least two of their Alluvials. Hang in there, Axon. It is going to be able to hold quite nicely for at least a little bit longer, but as soon as it falls, that is Alfie in the line of fire. But of course, I've got the 3 Harbingers, and the Rake is onto one of them. And we should be able to clean up. There we go. Depending on what we can find, there's another Bulwark that we do end up needing. So I will replace Apon for now. Something like this for the time being. Close up a little bit better. Eddie is slow as heck, so it needs to be near the front. Do something like this. There we go. Krunks is now online as well. There was just enough of a hole there for the Ranger, so in fact, maybe I should have had Hetty back there instead. Knowing what we know now. Do we get the Ranger down in time? We will not, so a little unfortunate there. Ramp fight. Decent damage. Harbingers are all still in the game, though. Of course, the lower health they get, the stronger they get, and they will hold. There we go, okay. We have potential to do something funny here in a minute. I'm curious. We gonna find anything? No. An Octius to try and shoot down in the back. But I'm actually pretty confident with our front line here. Okay, good shot onto the Ranger, but it's not onto the Octius. It's the one I was hoping that they would end up going for. A lot of damage coming out here from Jury. Yeah, that Octius is steam also because they got the chip for it. Damn. Strong squad. Flare is here. That's the one that I needed badly. Let's get that in here. Steam Harbinger online. Never mind about the silliness that I was thinking of with that Alluvial earlier. I think we do bring in Rake in just a moment's time here. A Brawler crate. Take the hexes. HP. And the Omega damage or stacking. I think just the raw damage right off the rip. Let's make it hurt. Okay. Axon, you're probably the one staying in here the longest. Let's level up a little bit more. Let's go. 1, 2, no. Harbinger. Stacking. Let's get rid of TNT for now, but I'm not going to get rid of you. You could potentially come back here in a second. In fact, I'm actually throwing. I still have room for TNT. And let's get you on top of that Alfie. Something like that. Let's see how this one goes. Of course, 3 Harbinger, and with the Rake being one of them, it is set up quite nicely to be a strong snowballing kind of composition. Granted, their Rake is going to start shooting off shots a little bit faster than mine because it does have the engine to charge it. It just immediately got evaporated, though, from my Ranger. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Beautiful. Bloodthirst for a little extra Omnivamp is oh, this is probably even better, though. How many tier 4s am I running? It's just 1. I think it's just 2, actually, so this is perfect case scenario. Just to focus the Omnivamp and attack damage onto Umber. Like keeping the water here. I do have the Twine on the bench, but kind of still need it. Or need everything else that I have here. I'm just going to send Umber off, or Umber. I'm going to send Rake off the long way around here. Just go after the Ranger and come back later. Alright, good shot here from Alfie as well to help support the Rake. Scoop them up, and look at that. They just jumped directly into a brick wall, and that's your lobby leader. Jiri is still looking good here as well. Blank Dash goes down. We're now in the top 4. And I have the potential to get the kill shot onto a player that is holding a lot of the Illuvials that I want. And yes, I know I'm being stupid greedy right now. I'm sitting here with over 112 credits still in the bank. Thing is I want the best possible shot. If Flunk does end up falling, I want the opportunity to be able to roll for not just Umber, but for potentially Dual F. Hey, Rake, nice of you to stop directly into my Alfie beam. That kind of worked out for us a little bit. And we are healing. We take down their Rake. Oh, no, it's still there. One more shot, though. There it goes. Flunk's out of here. Unfortunate that stopped a Ray at that exact spot. Hey, Dash. We can just keep going all the way to the point where we have 50 credits. And we'll stop there. I'm not going to all in just yet. Jiri still has a lot of the same Illuvials that I'm looking for. Okay, last time we played up against Clemson, it was a good time. We were able to win, and we did not even have half the Illuvials that we have now. Especially Sinolf here, with that big old beam doing some decent work. Took care of Ramp Fight before it even got its chance for the damage to land. And we're looking fantastic, at least up against Clemson. Jiri's going to be the big question mark. Whomever they just played against did take them down. I didn't see which player they were going up against, though. Clemson with a Jotun. You can do that, okay. That might be my icing on the cake option. I have 51, so I'm not in any threat of dying just yet. A Brawler crate. Another Phase Breaker. And it's not going to let me get this one yet, so... Actually going to just put this onto here. We're going up against the ghost of Jari, who does now have a Fisto. It's definitely a little terrifying. Gonna move it more so towards the middle, because the way it was originally positioned, it would have went directly into the Rip Lance. And now, at least this way, I can get at some of their invokers beforehand. Now the Rip Lance is going to get onto Rake, and that is going to make things difficult. But hopefully the Harbinger nature of my Rake can win this fight. And it will. Sweet. Okay, can I take this now? Fusion. Energy resists piercing. Okay. I'm gonna spend a little bit more. Level 10 engaged. The intent here is gonna be putting App on right with the rest of my DPS. Backing up a couple of my other tanks. And just going the long way around. I do not want to deal with Jotun immediately. They are going to make a nice move, though, to bring it over in the last possible second. But what this should hopefully line up for is maybe Sinolf to get involved. Can they get it as the Jotun moves? It is going to do some okay damage onto the Jotun, but meanwhile the rest of them are here. But that Appon is a fantastic delay install device here with this squad. In theory, one more cast here from my Rake should take care of it. Clemson is down. What do you have in terms... Well, we both have a little bit of what each other want, huh? That is rather annoying. We gotta deal with that Aphisto, though. One way to do it would be to one-shot it. Can we find the final one? We do. Dual F. The Dual F is here. I'm going to leave Rake right where it is. It's going to go up against the Rip Lance, but that should mean that Dual F shoots it first. There we go. Right through majority of the tank line as well. And Rake is on top of it. It is going to fall, but now it's Dual F's turn. Big shock coming out here from the Aphisto. This is not over. We still have the Ranger, though. We need the snipe, and there it is. It will all line up. Any chance of being able to stop them from getting a Rake? That's kind of what I'm rolling for in this instance. Potential swap there if need be. We might be just completely out of dashes here in this one. The last minute move on to the Aphisto is going to let it cast. But let's take care of the ramp, or not the ramp fight, but the Rip Lance nice and fast. But there does go my Dual F. But my Rake is still free to just rain down damage as best as possible. Where's the shocks coming? Stop this thing in its tracks, snipe it down, finish the job! And we'll take this one beautifully. The level advantage, having a bunch of extra units to help just tank those Aphisto shots, definitely did us wonders there. Because, yeah, we had 2 additional units, we were level 10. And finding the Dual F to at least get rid of the Rip Lance that was so focused on actually taking Rake out that it kept putting itself in danger. Had Rip Lance been able to hang in there a little bit longer, it could have very well burned through some of my front line, because in all reality, my front line was not that strong. It was really being kind of strong-held by the Axon. But we get the job done. There we go. Ending off the arena segment here with a W. And that is, again, what I love about the Aqua Blaster. Sure, it screams I'm going Umber, but it does not mean you have to all in on it, which is so beautiful. But we will be winding things down in Illuvium 0 to close off the day. Just getting it booted up as we speak. Of course, the goals for this one, if I go to display capture, there we are. So I've got all the biodata you'll see here on the left-hand side. All the way up from tier 1 to tier 3, we've got them all. But what I'm aiming for here is a couple of our tier 4s. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. So we need Umber, we need Geyser, we need Blasonite, Seer, Mamu, and Jokul. If we could find any of those today, I would be absolutely ecstatic. Start off at the top here with Halcyon C. I've got 3 of them going. First one, no dice. We gonna get anything? Oh, that's another thing too. I'm kind of short on databank space currently. I think I have a tier 1 biodata that I can part with. In fact, I think I found I got rid of this and then it came right back. I have it on another plot. I am fine with Archie leaving for now. What do we find? It's going to be Kuka. Okay, of course. It's the other tier 1 that I happen to have gotten rid of. So it's going to tease me a little bit, but it's not going to be the tier 4 that I'm looking for this time. Collect some of these passives. Always happy to see these passives finishing. Scooping all of that up. And then this tier 4 scanner just finished, so I'll gladly fire that up. But how about this Goliath? I was not expecting you! Okay, is that my... It has to be. Yes, it 100% is. We do not have Goliath. I'm here looking for tier 4s. And the game just gave me a tier 5. There we go. The Golden Warrior itself is going to make an appearance. Let's go. I'm gonna have to take a look and see what kind of skins those make, because I imagine the gold trim looking rather nice. Hop on over here to Shard Bluff. Send that one off. Not gonna find any on this plot. I have one more, I think, that actually has something doing, not scanners, but we do have research. Currently going down here at Taiga Boreal. Can we find any of our blueprints from our squad here today? The Exalted Gorilla Mozart we will 100% find. There we go. Now I gotta remember which one of these Exalteds were the... Let's just set those to not repeat, and I'll figure that out tomorrow. So with the Exalted Gorilla Mozart being picked up, that is all the way over here. We'll check that one off the list. Now we just need a suit for the gorilla, and we'll have that combo ready to make. We've caught a bunch of Exalted Gorillas, even just in our runs today as well. But I shouldn't have to wait too long to be able to make those skins. I do have all of my workers going at my tier 3. Just trying to top off my collectors. The one thing about these tier 3s that I'm realizing real fast is just the amount of abundance of fuel. Just upgrading things is basically not even an inconvenience. You want to upgrade something, you can absolutely do it. There is no major restriction. It just gives you so much fuel every single day, and that's just a tier 3. I can only imagine what those rocking a tier 4 or 5, what their plots look like. This one's not ready just yet. And then Crimson Wastes. It's ready for whenever the gems want to show up. Just trying to get enough fuel here to get my next upgrade for the Quantum Fabricant. Keep the hydrogen coming. And we'll close it off there. So big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Had a very, very interesting and productive day. Awesome in Arena, getting a second and a first. Good display here on the stream. Definitely happy for that one. Overworld was rather successful as well. We made 3 skins. Caught a rather nice, I can't remember why is it falling off. I was happy to get the Arcane Ember Links. But of course, we did have one get away from us, that Forest with max attack speed and max attack damage. I'm going to be dwelling over that one for the most part of the day. But there were still plenty of highlights here in the stream, of course. And finding Goliant as Biodata, that was a pleasant surprise. So, very, very happy. Game plan here for me for the next couple of days. Of course, it is Illuvium Pro League finale weekend. Start things off tomorrow with the top 16, willing them down to the top 8. And then on Sunday, in a checkmate format, we will crown our very, very first Illuvium Pro League champion. You'll catch me on Illuvium stream for that, whether that be YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I think you can even just watch on X if you really, really wanted to. So, plenty of options there. Then on Monday, we'll get back to our regular scheduled streams. Even though the Illuvium Pro League may be over at that point, it does not mean that I stop. We will keep on going, having a fun time, of course, as always, here with Illuvium, and having a fun time with all of you here on stream and in the chat as well. So until tomorrow, I will see you then.